Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cryptic Conversations. I'm your host, Tunes from the Crypt, and we have another very, very special guest today. Today's guest is Sankarshan Das. Sankarshan is a seasoned practitioner and lead teacher of Bhakti Yoga, boasting over 50 years of dedicated practice. As an initiated disciple of Bhakti Vedanta Swami, the esteemed founder of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, Sankarshan has immersed himself in the path of enlightenment known as Krishna consciousness. Through this transformative process, individuals can swiftly discern their true eternal spiritual nature and gain profound insights into the nature of God. Sankarshan Das emphasizes the significance of reciprocating and loving service with the Supreme Godhead, leading practitioners to experience higher states of happiness and unbound bliss. And I'm extremely honored to have him today. So welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
Awesome. So yeah, you have such a fascinating story. One I think that the world needs to hear about. So as I like to ask all my guests, please talk to us about your early life. Where did you grow up? Where did you go to school, and what was your family like?
Oh, yeah, it's typical American 1960s kid. We were taught to make good grades, get ahead, get a good degree, get a good career. Leading to a nice retirement, a really nice coffin also. But it wasn't enough for me, sorry. I'm not going to work so hard to get a nice coffin. I knew it had to be more than this. And when I got to college, nobody taught me the meaning of life. My professors, my textbooks, nobody told me. So I wasn't very happy about it. And I heard you could become self-realized. And then I tried this guru and that guru. They all cheated me. So... But I one day I heard I was there and I heard one song, a Dylan song by Jimi Hendrix. He said there must be some way out of here. Said the Joker to the thief. There's too much confusion. I can't get no relief. I said, yeah, there's got to be a way to get out of this material hell and achieve a higher dimension of consciousness. So he said, I know what I'll do. I'll just give up material life, go to India, be a holy beggar. I'm going to give up everything, deny everything, and just go to and but then when I realized on my way to India, wait a minute, you deny everything, you can really deny absolutely everything. You have to deny denial also, because denial is also something. So instead of renouncing the world, I said, yeah, I'm going to revolutionize the world. I became a hitchhiking hippie, going to San Francisco, Haight-Ashbury. Yeah, I'm going to revolutionize the world. So that's how I kind of got started. I wrote hundreds of songs. I shared the stage with some of the biggest rock bands of the era. But then I said, more than becoming a famous musician, I want spiritual enlightenment. So that brought me ultimately to the feet of A.C. Bhakti Swami. You turned me on to the dimension of consciousness where you can be victorious, opulent, and perfect in moral principles, successful, victorious in every situation. So that's what I'm spreading all over the world now, how to get free from even the most devastating situation. You can crush anxiety, get rid of it.
Yeah, I love that. Like I said, such a fascinating story. And when I was reading your book, I felt such a deep connection to you, especially in the beginning where it seemed like you just, you felt so alone and you were questioning life and existence, because you knew there was more. I can relate to you as well. I'm an only child. I have half brothers and sisters, but I've always been just like isolated. I think that was for a reason. I think I chose that in this life for some reason to become, establish my spirituality. And I've always just been so alone. And I like you, if people only knew how much time I spend alone in nature, like just alone in nature, like looking around, pondering, like what is the meaning of life? If people only knew, they probably would think I was weird. And I think everyone else is weird. It's like, how are you not questioning this existence, and so can you talk to us a little bit more about that, when in your early years, just feeling so alone and questioning life?
Yeah, well, I really related. The Beatles had a song called Nowhere Man, and I said, that's me. He's a real nowhere man, sitting in his nowhere man, making all his nowhere plans for nobody. That was me. I had a friend who was going to school at Harvard. I said, what's the meaning of life? He said, life is a shit sandwich. You got to take another bite every day. I said, whoa, that's not for me. Take a bite out of a shit sandwich every day. No way. There got to be something better than the shit sandwich every day.
Yeah.
So I was determined to find it, and I did by the grace of God. I was able to finally get it, and now I'm turned on to it. I'm turning the whole world on to it. And actually, this what I've realized can solve all the world's problems, both individually and collectively. So I'm really aggressive now in wanting to spark off a global spiritual revolution to turn world history right side up.
I love that. There's another song that my friend turned me on to recently. It was "Fool on the Hill." Is that the Beatles?
Yeah,
Fool on the Hill. Yeah, he told
I
me.
was also the fool on the hill. That's
Yeah,
right.
he tells me I'm the fool on the hill, and I literally sit on a hill over here, and I'm just like, he's like, you're the fool on the hill. So yeah, I mean, so talk to us more about, your teenage years into college. You had such an astonishing, life transforming set of experience in the 60s and 70s.
I had
What were they, and why did you decide to
I
write
had
about them?
everything going for me. I was an honor student. I was on the debate squad. I was the commanding officer of our military cadet corps. I was in the All City Orchestra. I had everything going for me materially, but it didn't hack it. It just didn't hack it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And so for the listeners, what does your spiritual name mean, Sankarshan Das?
The Sankarshan is a name in Sanskrit for God, and Das means servant, so it means I'm the servant of God.
Nice.
Actually, God has unlimited names. Krishna, Jehovah, also all of their names of God too. So religion is actually one. It's not this religion and that religion. We talk about this religion and that religion. That's not religion. That's religiosity.
Mm,
True religion means to relink with that supreme person, the source of all existence. He has unlimited names, unlimited qualities, unlimited pastimes. So my book will teach the readers how to plug into that higher state of consciousness beyond all the anxieties of this material world. They can go to blessedwithbliss.com and see how to get a copy. Blessedwithbliss.com.
okay. So do you still feel like you are Steve, but in evolved form?
No, that's on my driver's license only.
Yeah,
I don't relate to that name at all.
not anymore, right? Okay.
That's history.
So I want to acknowledge and respect your dedication to this lifestyle, as well as any others who dedicate themselves to these types of practices. As I go along my journey, I find myself getting closer to this. I'm also curious, I can only imagine how difficult committing to this lifestyle can be. Have you ever had any moments of doubt or uncertainty?
Um, no, not really. Uh, It was actually when I first headed out, cutting off my relationship as the son of my mom and dad, and heading out to San Francisco with my guitar, a hitchhiking hippie. It was the most frightening and the most thrilling moment of my entire life. I was frightened as hell, but I was excited like anything. So, and there was no turning back. I didn't want to go back. Once you get liberated from the grave, who wants to go back to the grave?
Did, did your were your parents in your family, did they approve of this new lifestyle?
Well, my dad, yeah, he thought it was pretty cool. My dad liked it. My
Nice.
mother was, my mother gave me a Bible because she didn't understand that religion.
Yeah.
But my dad thought it was really cool. In fact, my dad, because he got a special blessing at the time of death, my wife and I went to him and we chanted the Hare Krishna mantra. He heard the holy names of Krishna as he was leaving his body, which means he's attaining the spiritual world. So my dad was cool with it. And of course, my mother was also very dear to me, but she didn't have the intelligence my dad had. My dad was cool with it.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm trying to remember in your book. Yeah, I remember, your dad seemed to be like a little bit more supportive, and he tried to guide you, and but you still felt like, his words of wisdom just didn't really
Yeah,
resonate.
he said, "Son, your college days are gonna be the happiest days of your life.
Yeah,
It was miserable as hell.
yeah.
These are my happiest days, but the rest of my life gonna be like."
Yeah. Okay. So from your perspective, what are some of the most important aspects of Hinduism that the average person should know?
Well, see, this is beyond Hindu is a word coined by the Muslims, actually. The real term is the tradition religious system of India is called the Vedic culture or Vedic religion. Hindu
Mm.
is a word from the Muslims describing the people on the other side of the Indus River. So we don't really use the word Hindu, although some
Ah.
people use it, but actually the real word is the Vedic culture.
Mm.
The primary teaching is called Bhagavad Gita,
Yeah.
spoken 5,000 years ago by Lord Krishna. And Krishna says to Give it, take, abandon everything else and just fully surrender to me, and I will deliver you from all your difficulties. And it really works. Because actually, our real identity, whether you're a Christian, a Sikh, a Muslim, a Jain, or whatever you may, Buddhist, whatever you may be, or an atheist, our all identities ultimately is we're all servants of that supreme person, the source of all existence. Just like the hand is meant to serve the belly by giving food, or the tree, the leaves and branches serve the root by sending the water. Sending the sunshine. The real essence of existence is to serve that source of all existence, and that reconnects us with our actual identities. When you reconnect with the source of the source by giving your loving service to that source, is like watering the root of the tree or feeding the belly. When you water the root of the tree, the whole tree is nourished. So when you give your loving service to that supreme person, the source of all existence, you become nourished, and you nourish every living entity through all of existence. So this is the perfection of love. This is called divine love, like the name of the book.
Yeah.
Perfection of love is the love, the source of all existence. You see, when you feed your belly, your whole body becomes nourished. When you give your love to that supreme person, the source of all existence, your love now goes to every living being, including even the grasshoppers and the armadillos. Everybody gets your loving service. So that's why you can feel really good. We feel good when we have a loving relationship with somebody. Just imagine have a perfect loving relationship with everyone throughout all of existence by loving that supreme person, the source of all existence. That feels really good. Now you're really on the love channel, pure love channel.
Wow. Yeah, I love that. Also, from your perspective, why are cows and elephants worshipped as holy?
Well, the elephant, especially the cow, of course, every living entity we respect, even little N is respected as a little brother. He said, we all love all living entities, but the cows especially dear because we are nurtured by our mother's breast milk, and we're born, but then after a while, she stops giving her breast milk, and we take the breast milk from the cow. So the cow is actually our second mother. So would you kill your first mother when she stops giving milk, or kill your second mother? Therefore, the cow is considered sacred and very holy. Even we have a saying in English. Remember that saying, holy cow? Holy cow? Actually, it is holy. We even say that as a saying in America. Holy cow. Yeah, the cow is holy.
Yeah.
So the cow is given special loving care. That's right.
Yeah.
We never kill the cows. We want to, if you want a burger, take a vegan burger. Don't take a cow burger.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a theory going around online. I don't know if there's any truth to it, but I saw people talking about how that there's a theory that cows are holy because mushrooms grow in the feces.
That's a bunch of, I'm going to say bullshit. That's a bunch of baloney.
Yeah.
That's nonsense, complete nonsense. The cow's our second mother because she gives her breast milk. Just see how much milk we get: yogurt, we get cheese, we get ice cream. I mean, how can they kill such an animal who doesn't demand, who's not cruel, who just chews grass, which we can't even eat, and we get yogurt and ice cream and so many nice things. It's insane to kill such an innocent animal who doesn't harm anybody. It's absolutely cruel and ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So from your perspective, what is your view on Buddha and Jesus, and how do the people of India view Jesus?
Lord Buddha is an incarnation of Krishna, and Lord Jesus is a great avatar, a Saktavish avatar, a pure representative of Krishna. Actually, Jesus studied under the priests in India before he came to Israel and preached.
Yeah.
We worship all of them. We worship Muhammad, we worship Buddha, we worship Krishna, we worship Jesus. They're all worshipable by us.
Yeah, I was just wondering what your views were on Jesus, because I feel like in the Western world, Christianity seems to be kind of upside down, and I feel like they have a backwards view of what Jesus represented.
Jesus. It's upside down because they don't follow him. Jesus, the Bible says, "Thou shalt not kill," and they're building all these slaughterhouses. They're not actually Christians. Actually, Jesus brought me to Krishna consciousness. You can read in my book how Jesus brought me to Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
So I'm actually a Christian Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
I accept Jesus and I accept Krishna because the Father and the Son are one in purpose. When you accept the Father, the Son is also there. When you accept the Son, the Father is also here. So Krishna consciousness means accept the Father and the Son. Krishna is the Father, the Holy Father. Our Father who art in heaven is actually Krishna. You see? So, but they make a distinction because they don't know the science of God. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. Um, can you talk to us about the four regulative principles for daily
Yeah, it's very
practice?
simple. These things very much see the problem we have is that we misidentify with our material bodies. The body is just a shirt or a coat that you're wearing. It's not actually you. Actually, even when you dream at night, in your subtle body, you go somewhere else. You see, so the body is not actually you. It's just a coat you're wearing right now. So at the time of death, your subtle body will carry another gross body, or if you're spiritually aware, it'll take you to the spiritual world. So these regulative principles are to help us stop misidentifying with the body. Now, what's the number one pleasure nowadays? Sex, 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 right? Have sex, even they have sex with animals sometimes, so much into it. So this sex pleasure, which is titillating the genitals, basically brings us into bodily consciousness. So I am this body, I am this penis, I am this vagina. You see, it brings us into this bodily consciousness. But actually, this sex pleasure is a 10th class pleasure. Once you can taste the pleasure of chanting God's holy name, you get a pleasure at least 10 times better than titillating the genitals. So why cheat yourself by being caught up in genital consciousness, which is only the covering of the body? You can come to the actual deliberated platform of relishing a pleasure 100,000 times better by chanting the names of God. So we give up, we have sex for producing kids, which is nature's arrangement, and this acts for fun. It's not really it diverts us from the actual purpose of our existence as human beings. We don't have sex for fun. So sex for fun is called illicit sex, and sex for producing kids, that's spiritual sex. And as far as meat eating, it's a very cruel thing. We don't need, in fact, our teeth are designed for vegetarian food. We don't have teeth like a lion or a tiger. See, we don't have a bodies meant for eating. That's why you have to cook it and use so many things. If the lion or the tiger don't need to cook it, they just eat it straight. They can eat meat raw, but we cannot. We can eat vegetables raw, but we can't eat meat raw. So meat is not natural for us. And the karma is very bad also. If you eat an animal, you have to become an animal like that in your next birth. The karma for meat eating is very bad. You eat animals, you become an animal. So no meat eating, no intoxication. Why get intoxicated with marijuana, LSD, or liquor, or this or that when you can chant Hare Krishna, get 10 times higher? These drugs actually bring you down.
Yeah.
They don't bring you, they bring you back to the bodily platform. And no gambling. Who wants to waste their money? It's a waste of money. No illicit sex, no meeting, no intoxication, no gambling. They actually make sense and they really work. If you try giving up these things even for a week and try chanting the names of God instead of these things, you'll find yourself on a new platform of existence far beyond anything you ever experienced in your whole life.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So let's see, where am I at on my journey now? I've been sober for what, 2 years, a little over 2 years. The only thing I do is caffeine. I drink coffee, so I guess I would have to cut coffee out.
Yeah, it's
Um,
intoxicating. I never got a taste for it. So
yeah,
I had no trouble giving up because I never drank it my whole life. But yeah, you get intoxicated by it. You get
yeah,
habituated, a coffee habit. Gotta have
okay.
coffee. But actually, just try cutting back a little bit and try chanting instead, and you'll find a new addiction.
Yeah,
The
and
liberation that
and
exists.
I've never been a gambler, so I got that. And then sex, I'm on a journey of retaining. Actually, I had nobody teach me this, but throughout my 20s, I started to realize about how depleted I would feel after releasing, just so depleted. And I was like, man, there's got to be something to this. And so I've been on the retention journey now for quite some time. So the only thing other would be the meat eating. So I gotta, and I've been trying to get better with that. I eat
At
chicken and
least
fish.
at least give up beef.
Yeah, I eat a lot of chicken and fish. So now,
Yeah, that's a
cut.
step forward. Give up eating cow. You're making a step forward.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, I definitely think those are four.
Skip McDonald's. Go to Kentucky Fried, but skip McDonald's.
Okay. So moving on. So how did you become initiated as a disciple of
Well, it's
Bhaktivedanta?
very simple. Bhaktivedanta Swami has a system. If you give up these four things and chant at least 16 times around the beads, the Hare Krishna mantra, that means it's 16 times 108, 1,728 repetitions of the holy name every day, then you become a disciple. So I qualified myself by showing I was steady in that practice. And I got recommended for initiation and accepted me in July of 1971 by a letter from London. And he sent me
Nice.
my beads also, my chanting beads. I still have them. He chanted on those beads, and now I'm using those same beads that he chanted on.
Yeah, I enjoyed reading the story in your book when you were first starting to meet him and he was handing flowers out to
Yeah.
everybody. And then you were waiting for him because you wanted to get like another look at him. And then he thought you wanted a flower and you're like, no, I already got one. But
Yeah, he
just
wanted
that
to make sure
makes,
he sent him, he picked me out of the crowd and wanted to make sure I got in the flower.
yeah,
He was so caring and loving
yeah, that's
for
amazing.
everybody. I mean,
Yeah,
it was just some unknown kid from Texas standing there. There was like
yeah.
maybe 50 devotees, but he singled me out from the whole crowd and wanted to make sure I got in the flower.
Yeah. So, yeah. So how was it being in his presence? To talk to us a little bit more about that. Yeah.
I mean, it's indescribable because here's a person who's actually come from the spiritual world, who's a pure emissary, a pure representative of God. To actually see him is like being in God's presence. That's how powerful it was. It's
Oh,
like
wow.
it's like you're in God's presence just to see this pure representative of God. It's inconceivable. But we have many videos you can watch. I can send you if you I can send you a link where you can see so many videos of him. There's so many lectures from him also. I have so many lectures of him in my smartphone. I can go on a walk and hear his lectures, and plus I have many letters he wrote me also, which very much encouraged me in my spiritual life. Actually, the spiritual master is not his body, but he lives forever in the sound vibration of his teachings. So I
Hmm.
constantly connect with him just by remembering his instructions to me.
Yeah. There was another big spiritual leader that came in the 60s. It was affiliated with the Beatles. Was it Maharishi?
Yeah,
Or,
the Beatles gave him up, and they went to Bhaktivedanta Swami.
uh,
See, Maharishi was into making money. He charged
uh,
money for the mantra. You had to pay him money to get the mantra, but Prabhupada
uh,
gave the mantra for free.
yeah.
He wasn't into making money. He was into Prabhupada wanted to give, give, give. But Maharishi came to take, take, take. So
Oh,
that
wow.
the real sage is not into take, take, take. A real sage is into give. I was actually an Isha of Maharishi, but it didn't work. I had to pay money to get
Oh,
the mantra, and it didn't work. I read that in my book, put that in my book.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's another thing that I think people need to look out for is these fake spiritual gurus that, you know,
Right.
yeah,
Take
people gotta
advantage of
watch
the
out.
naive
Yeah.
Westerners.
Yeah.
Real sadhus don't charge money for their teachings. They give them out of love.
Okay. So can you explain the core principles of Bhakti Yoga and how they differ from other paths of yoga?
Well, see, there's it's called Ashtanga yoga, where you sit in the rigid yoga postures and you raise the life airs of the different chakras, and finally you go through you can pop it through the head of the skull and attain spiritual planets. But that yoga system requires great austerities and penances, and there was a previous yoga when people lived to be 100,000 years. So that system of yoga took about 60,000 years to perfect.
Mm,
So we don't, and there was no distractions. Not like you go to your job, uh, and you go visit your girlfriend, you walk the dog, and do some yoga postures. No, they would sit down rigidly, full time, for thousands of years to achieve the perfection of that yoga system. It's called jnana yoga. Chapter 6 of the Gita describes that. But that yoga system is not practical in this age. We practice the system called bhakti, or the yoga of devotion. And this you can do even when you're working a job, even when you're doing podcasts. You can by offering everything you do as an offering of love to Krishna, whether
mm,
you're sleeping or eating, whatever you're working a job, whatever you're doing, offer the result of all that in the service of Krishna. This is called the highest practice, highest type of yoga, bhakti. So this is the perfection of yoga to engage in a devotional service to the Supreme Lord.
okay. Can you share any memorable or transformative experiences from your own journey of practicing bhakti?
Well, there's so many of them.
Oh
I can
yeah.
50 years of experience. Wow. I could, but which one? Which one should I give you? Oh, here's one. I was there in Atlanta in 75, and I was right by my spiritual master. He was sitting on the Vyasa, which is an elevated seat of the spiritual master. I was sitting on his right-hand side, just a few feet away from him, and his personal servant, Shruta Kirti Das, was on the other side to take care of whatever needs he had personally. So I looked across Prabhupada's lap, Bhaktivedanta Swami's lap at Shruti Kirti, my godbrother, who was serving him as a personal servant. And he gave me the most warm, loving smile. And I could understand the mercy of my spiritual master was bouncing off Shruti Kirti, and he was like a mirror uh, shining the mercy of Prabhupada upon me. That's one of my most memorable experiences.
Nice. Okay. Well, what advice would you give to beginners who are interested in exploring bhakti but feel unsure where to start?
Go to blessedwithbliss.com and get a copy of my book, blessedwithbliss.com. It'll take you straight to my site on Amazon for getting a copy.
Okay.
Book. That'll give you a good introduction. And also, if you want to get a free copy of a nice book, this is a free copy. It's called Urge Journey to Other Planets. It's available for free. Just go to divine108.com and you can sign on my list there, and you get regular free broadcasts every week about this science, and you get a free copy of Urge Journey to Other Planets, divine108.com. So there's two sites, blessedwithbliss.com to get my memoir, and Divine 108 to get a free copy of Easy Journey to Other Planets.
Yeah, so I finished your memoir this morning, and then at the end of it, I saw there was a link, so I signed up for that. So I'll be excited to explore that one here soon. So yeah, so it seems like Bhakti Yoga. It's really about loving service. And so, can you expand on more on how that leads to higher states of happiness? I think the world really needs it.
And the thing is, if you really look deep into the science of God, you go very, very deep. You can understand that why do we even exist? Well, that Supreme Lord who's all powerful, all beautiful, all wealthy, all famous, and all renounced, is the supreme enjoyer. Now, what does enjoyment mean? Enjoyment means loving relationship, doesn't it? Somebody that has anything else, they get a dog, right?
Yeah.
They get a dog. Everybody wants loving relationship. So where does that tendency for loving relationship come from? Because that tendency is in God himself. He loves loving relationships. Therefore, that supreme person, the source of all existence, is emanating from, he is all powerful. So he is emanating from himself an unlimited love, variety of living beings to enjoy loving relationships with him. And that's why you exist. That's why I exist. Krishna, our God, is emanating us from himself for the purpose of enjoying loving relationships with us. So, but love means voluntary. I can't put a gun in you, love me or I'll blow your brains out. Love is voluntary.
Yeah.
So the living entities have a choice. Love God or leave him. You have your choice. You're not forced. Love means it has to be voluntary. So those living entities who are intelligent, they stay with him and don't leave. But sometimes, like a little kid, his mother felt he's very curious. He sees the gas stove in the kitchen. Mommy, what is that? Oh, little boy, don't touch it. Oh, I want to see what it's like. She turns the flame very low so he doesn't really hurt his hand. God gives us a choice to love or leave him, but he also gives us a facility that we can come back once we realize it was a stupid mistake. So those of this material world, we decided to try what it'd be like if I was God myself instead of serving God. So everybody thinks they're God. The dog thinks he's God. Woof, woof, woof. Everybody thinks they're the center of existence. That's why we have so many wars going on. So many going on. Everybody thinks I'm the center. I'm the center. This is my property. Who are you doing on my property?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why we exist, to have a loving relationship with him. But that Supreme Lord is very merciful. He appears in the form of great prophets like Lord Jesus or Hazrat Muhammad, or he comes like Buddha. He comes as Lord Krishna in his original form to give us the science of how to get back to him. So that science is to engage in loving service to him, which is our original natural nature. So when you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's not something artificial, but it's actually reviving your original natural tendency to render loving service to the Supreme Lord. So that when you start taking up this process of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, you'll actually feel something waking up within your heart. It's just like a sun. When the Krishna sun will arise on your heart like a beautiful spring morning, you'll feel a sunrise, but then you actually feel it. You can taste it. You have this awakening love of God happening within your heart. And the more you do it, the more it becomes powerful. So that's why people all over the world, I have millions of people chanting Hare Krishna now, because it really works. My spiritual master came to America in 19, what was it, 65 or 66, 65. He brought only 40 rupees, which is like $10, and a pair of little hand symbols. That's all they had. And from that, for $40 and hand bills, he started a huge international movement. This chanting works. The original chanters were a bunch of hippies there in the Lower East Side of New York City. Oh, there's an Indian Swami in town. Let's go check it out. And he gave so much love. He was so kind and so loving and so friendly. He gave nice food. He cooked nice vegetarian food, offered love to Krishna. And he gave wonderful talks. They were inspired by him, and they decided to become his disciples. And then he sent some of them over to San Francisco, Haight-Ashbury, where the hippies were congregating. And the hippies got into it also. And then he sent some of those hippies to London, where they met the Beatles and got the Beatles into it. And the thing just exploded like anything.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was reading your book, it was like the way you wrote it and the way it was described. I really enjoyed it, was how you described just offering those lunches and those little desserts. What were those desserts called again?
Simply Wonderfuls.
Yeah, man. The way it just made me want to eat one. Like, I would like to try one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really simple. You take powdered milk, butter. Let's see. Yeah, powdered milk. Yeah, powdered sugar and butter, and mix them together, and then offer to Krishna with love. Take a picture of Krishna, make a little altar, and offer. You can make a whole bowl of them and give them out to your friends. They're really good. It's very simple. Butter, molten butter, powdered sugar, and powdered milk. And make them and put some raisins in it too if you wanted, some chopped walnuts. It's
Oh yeah.
amazing. Amazing treat. They're called Simply Wonderfuls.
Yeah, because they're simply wonderful. And how
Yeah.
I think towards the end of your book, you're walking down the street handing them out, and then some kid got angry and knocked them out of your hand, and then you
Yeah.
got angry back at him. I wasn't expecting you to react that way, but you were like, no, like you need to
Oh,
pick
and
this up.
it really worked. I mean, I got so heavy. I said, "You better get out there and pick up all those sweets right now!" Like I was going to kill him to do it. You see, you can use anger in the service of God. You see, and it
Yeah,
worked.
yeah,
He completely flipped into a nice, friendly guy, and he helped me pick up all the sweets.
yeah,
It's by that anger, you see, by showing him that anger. So sometimes a devotee of the Lord can become angry like fire if somebody is blasphemous. You see.
yeah,
Only very peaceful, but he can use anger as a tool also. So I use intense anger and a loving. It was actually my love for him to show him that anger.
yeah,
He
yeah,
brought him back to being a nice guy again.
yeah. Sometimes you need that tough love. Yeah,
Yeah, tough love. That's right.
yeah. Also, towards the end of your book, it was what was it? Oh, the Miami, the robbery, the Miami.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Can you talk about that?
yeah. We were sitting there. Our custom in the evening was get together and drink some hot milk. A nice little social gathering in the evening. We all gather together and have some hot milk. But all of a sudden, we heard somebody screaming, and the guy came in with a gun at Bhakti Patty's head, and she would go. He had a hand muffing her mouth, and the guy came with a rifle. He said, "Everybody get down on the floor." And they were coming to rob us, you see. And I didn't want to get down on the floor. I just had there's an incarnation of God who's known for killing the demons. His name is Nrsinga. He's a half lion, half man incarnation. He kills demons. So I chanted the name of Nrsinga Dave. Now I got the gun pointed at me. And then I thought, well, I'll negotiate. But our temple president, he heard that somebody yelled Nrsinga Dave's name. He came out of the office to see what's going on, and he saw robbery in progress. So it's a whole interesting story. They want the details, they can read the book.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was interesting how he was like, everybody get on the floor. And the only person that stayed standing was you.
Yeah,
You're
I
like,
didn't get on the floor. I'm not going to bow down to these guys.
yeah.
God's name instead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So,
Only to God, not to these bandits.
yeah. So as we're talking about your book, for the listeners, what is that main message that you wanted to convey through the book?
The main thing is we're all in anxiety here, caught up in the cycle of birth and death. We're forced to be born. It's painful. We have to get sick. That's painful. We get old. That's painful. We have to die. We're going through all this repetition, birth, death, old age, and disease again and again and again. But if you actually can come to this platform, divine love, as described in my memoir, love of that supreme person. This will liberate you from all anxieties. You can actually you can rise above all the distresses and the disasters of material existence in every situation. You can be situated beyond all anxiety. You can crush anxiety into nothingness by following this process as described in my book, The Divine Love Memoir.
Awesome. So I'll definitely link that to the video description for the listeners. I think you really should read the book. It's such a fascinating story. Once again, I want to give you praise on the book. I'm not I'll be honest, I don't like reading. I have a hard time reading, but your book, it was written it was easy to read. I think, writers need to make it easy to read, and people will definitely be able to
Well,
finish
that's
the
why we
book.
say blessed with bliss. You see, this book at blessedwithbliss.com, this blessed with bliss book, blessed you with bliss.
Yeah. Okay, let's also talk about your free e-course. What is the goal of the course and how
Yeah,
can
well,
people gain access?
this is for people. This is not for this is a more advanced level training for people who are already familiar with this culture. It's not for beginners. We have many people who are already advanced in this culture. I have 18,000 people signed up for it right now.
Oh,
We're
wow.
more advanced in this culture. People from India, people who are already not for beginners, but it comes out every day. Readers all over the world. Thousands of people are reading it all over the world. I don't know if I would recommend it here because it's like a
Hmm.
level stuff.
Okay.
Um, I'd rather people go to Divine Winaway and get the introductory level because the advanced level stuff may be too much for them to understand and relate.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. Got you. So, for the average listener who is unfamiliar, who is Krishna? Also, what is the Hare Krishna mantra? And what is its significance?
Well, Krishna, see, God has unlimited names. Krishna is a name for God which describes him very, very accurately. Because in this material world, what are we attracted by? Somebody is very powerful, we're attracted by that. Somebody's very beautiful, we're attracted. Somebody is very renounced, like some sage coming down from the Himalayas, that's attractive to us. Somebody, somebody's power, beauty, someone's very knowledgeable with a big, big PhD. Somebody's very wealthy. Somebody's very famous, like the Beatles. You see, these people are very attractive to us. So just consider one person who has unlimited power, unlimited beauty, unlimited renunciation, unlimited knowledge, unlimited wealth, unlimited fame. How attractive would that person be? That person would be all attractive. So the name Krishna means that person who is all attractive. So
Ah,
the name Krishna is especially potent. It describes God in full, perfectly describes that supreme person. The Hare Krishna mantra is a means given by him. It's not invented, it's given by God himself. How we can connect with him in a very powerful way. Hare is his energy, and Krishna means the all attractive one, and Rama means the supreme enjoyer. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you will take that mantra and chant it every day, you'll have an amazing transformation in your consciousness. I mean, we're talking about super amazing, where you can turn your whole life right side up. Right now, we're upside down, misidentifying with these material bodies. If you can chant Hare Krishna mantra even a few minutes every day, it doesn't cost anything. It's easy to do. It's fun, especially during the early morning hours when you can get in a meditative mood, or even when you're doing anything, driving the car, but in any situation, try chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and you will see miraculous transformations happening in your life.
okay. Wow, I'm gonna have to go try that out when I go out in nature and try that out.
Yeah.
So from your perspective, why is Krishna always depicted as blue, and playing a flute?
Well, he has many different forms. That's his bluish blackish form is original form, playing the flute. Uh, God is not some old man with a beard.
Yeah.
God is eternal. Why would one again, if God is all powerful, why is he becoming old? I have an idea God is an old man with a beard, because he's the oldest of the old. But God is the oldest of the old. He's also the youngest of the young. He's all powerful. He never gets old. So he has that form because it's very attractive form, actually. It's a very good looking form. And that's why he manifests that form. Is very, very cool. A bluish blackish form is very, very beautiful. It's not like it's not. he manifests that color with is very, very beautiful to behold, actually. And he plays the flute because he's the most expert musician, better than the Beatles or anybody else. He plays, especially the fifth note of this flute is very, very enchanting. He plays the
Uh,
flute in such a way that the whole world can become attracted just by hearing his flute. He's a supreme flute player.
yeah, it seems like in that culture, it seems like a lot of the gods are portrayed as blue. What is your view on Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva?
Lord Brahma is a Vishnu is actually an incarnation of Krishna, who's in charge of. That's an expanded form of Krishna who's in charge of universal management.
Mm,
And Lord Brahma is a pure devotee of Krishna. Lord Shiva is also a pure devotee of Krishna. Lord Brahma is in charge of the creation of the universe.
hmm
See, actually, there's millions of universes. Our universe we're in right now is just one little mustard seed in a bag of mustard seeds.
Oh wow.
Every universe has its own Brahma, its own
Oh my
uh,
God.
theater. So Brahma is in charge of creation, Shiva is in charge of destruction, and Vishnu is in charge of maintenance. But they're all subordinate to Krishna.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's
Okay.
just like just like there's some companies, there's the construction company, the destruction company, the maintenance company. But the owner of the whole thing, he's beyond it. He doesn't mess around with those activities. See, Krishna doesn't mess around with creation, maintenance, or destruction. He just enjoys playing the flute and having associating with the cows, the calves, his boyfriends and girlfriends. He doesn't have to worry about all these, duties. The duties
Yeah.
are given to Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. Krishna has no worry about duties. He just enjoys all the time playing the flute, associating with the cows, the calves, his boyfriends and girlfriends.
Wow. Okay.
That's God. You see, God doesn't have no duties to perform. He doesn't report to the office.
Yeah.
Joys. That's all. That's God.
So I think also in your book in the earlier years, you were mentioning how you had this view and this philosophy that you are God, I am God, we're all God,
Yeah.
and that was like an entry level, right? But then you begin to understand that that's
Uh,
true, but there's a supreme God, right?
See, there's many gurus who teach I'm God, you're God, my all God, but that's not really true. I mean, in quality we are. Just like consider this: if I bring a drop of ocean water and I ask you, is this ocean or not? Say, oh yes, it is ocean. But I ask you, is it the ocean? You see, an ocean of drop of water is also ocean, but it's not the ocean. So qualitatively, we're all God. Each one of us is a little fragment of God.
Yeah. Okay.
So we are God in that sense, but in the sense of we're part of God, we're the whole God, you see. So some gurus, so-called gurus, come and they teach that I'm God, you're God, and we're all God is the final understanding. But that's not true. We're one with and different from God. They teach only half of it. We're one with God, and period. But that's only half of the picture. The other, we are one in quality and different in quantity. So I was misguided in the beginning by, for example, in my books, Alan Watts, he had a book called The Book, which teaches you that you're actually God. And so I was misguided by these teachings, but I rejected them because they didn't work. If I'm God, why do I have to worry about working a job or paying my rent, right? So it didn't make sense it sounded pretty good at first, but when I tried to put it into practice, it wasn't practical. So the
Mm,
idea of being God is not practical, but being a servant of God, that's very practical.
got you. Okay. Are you familiar with Babaji? He is another fascinating story.
There's so many Babajis, this Baba and that Baba. There's also
Oh,
so many bogus Babas also. They're
yeah,
the bogus Babas.
the one that I'm familiar with is, he's just deep in meditation and he transcended and he's a yogi, I guess, and he's able to appear, he's up in, is it the Himalayas?
There's so many yogis there are mystic powers that yogis can do. There's yogis in the Himalayas who have mystic powers that they can levitate. There's so many just mystic powers, but those powers are not as powerful as becoming a lover of God. That's a lower level of yoga. To
Okay.
show mystic powers, but they're not able to conquer death. They can bring a pomegranate from Kabul and bring it. It's called Propti City. They can reach to a distant place and bring something to them by yogic power,
Oh,
but they
wow.
can't conquer death.
That's true. Yeah.
So the highest yogi is the Bhakti yogi, the yoga of love, the yoga of devotion. That yogi, when we're teaching that yoga where you can conquer death, that's better than any of those other yogis and babas.
Okay. So you also believe that most people have an upside down view of reality, and I completely agree. So why do you see things this way?
Why is it upside? Because they misidentify. They think I am this body. I'm a
Yeah.
woman, I'm a man, I'm an Indian, an American, I'm male, I'm female, I'm
Yep.
young. Oh, these are all illusions.
Oh yeah.
We're not this body. The
Yeah.
whole world is wrapped up in bodily consciousness. So we have to get out of that consciousness because the time of death, it's ripped away from you. So why identify with something that's going to be ripped away from you when it's not really you? The death is very frightening for those who identify that I'm the body because at the time of death, it's ripped away. The constables of death come and they rip you away from your body. So why misidentify with something that's not really you? One identifies as a spiritual being, qualitatively one with the Supreme Lord. Now you're a liberated soul. Even within this body, you're a liberated soul. And that's what we teach you how to be a liberated soul, completely beyond all the ignorance and misery of this world, right here, right now, by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra.
Wow, I love that so much. Yeah. I also found it so fascinating in your book how you went to jail, and
Yeah.
how you had that revelation from prison. I thought that was so fascinating.
I was actually in ecstasy chanting Hare Krishna in the cell. And
Yeah.
I could tell actually the world is behind bars and I'm not. I'm a liberated side. And I saw the whole material world is behind bars and I'm liberated. I looked out the window. I see they're behind bars, not me.
Wow, that's such a powerful mindset to have. It's truly amazing. To have that mindset while you're in prison, how many people can do that, man? That's truly amazing. So, yeah.
If you chant Hare Krishna, you can do it too.
Okay, so with all the information and wisdom that you now have on this journey, what is your view on karma and the meaning of life?
Karma means it's like the law of motion. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Whatever you do, it's going to bounce back on you in the future. As long as you act on the platform of material sense enjoyment, you get a reaction for everything you do. If you eat a hamburger, you become a cow and you'll be slaughtered. You see, whatever you do is going to bounce back on you. If you open a charity hospital, then you're going to get to be a patient at a charity hospital because all the people you took care of in the charity hospital, now they owe you the debt of giving you free medical care. So let's say I give 1,000 people free medical care. So I get to take 1,000 births to get free medical care from all those people, you see. Good and bad activities both bounce back on you. But if you come to Krishna conscious, you become a devotee of God. You're no longer caught up in karmic reaction. You're free from all your karma. So what was the second question?
That was it
Meaning
about
of life.
karma. A
The
meaning of
meaning of
life, yeah.
life means the reason we exist is to have a loving relationship with God. That's the very reason we exist as spiritual beings, have a loving relationship with that supreme person. So if you refuse to accept his existence, or if you don't agree to serve him, you're denying yourself of the unlimited bliss you can taste by being in a loving relationship with him. And I teach you how to do that. So everyone can go to Divine 108 and sign up for the weekly mailings, and they get a free copy of His Unity of the Planets, and go to Bless with Bliss to get a copy of the memoir.
So does that help us break free from the cycle of reincarnation?
Absolutely. By chanting Hare Krishna, you're in the process of liberating yourself from the cycle of birth and death. In other words, we remain caught up. There's actually 8,400,000 species, and we've been going through all these species, birth after birth. Sometimes a fish, sometimes a bird, sometimes an insect, sometimes a bear, sometimes a lion, sometimes a cactus plant. We've been going through this cycle since time immemorial. But when you chant Hare Krishna, you liberate yourself. You don't take another material body. You actually regain your original spiritual form and the pastimes of the Supreme Lord and His spiritual kingdom. That's called Goloka Vrindavan. You go back to your original identity as an eternal servant of that Supreme Lord with a form that never gets sick and never gets old and never dies.
Wow. Okay. That's definitely something for the listeners to consider if you want to
Absolutely.
break free from the
Well,
cycle of reincarnation.
my dear listeners, don't only consider it, you should do it. Don't only consider it, you should do it. Don't cheat yourself by staying in the cycle of birth and death. Chant Hare Krishna, get liberated from the cycle of birth and death. Right now, do it.
I love that. Okay. So looking ahead, what do you envision for the future of your work and your impact on the spiritual community?
Well, there's actually prediction the whole world's going to become Krishna conscious. So my dedication is to spark off a global. My spiritual master already sparked it off, but now I want to fan the flames of that revolution going on all over the world and make and so it completely engulfs this entire planet, this entire universe, and the entire multi-universes. My endeavor is to let the whole material existence now become Krishna conscious. That's my desire to make that happen. Even if I take birth after birth to do so. That's my mission. Spiritualize the whole material existence. That's my mission.
I love that. I love that. I'm on a similar journey. I'm trying to, raise the consciousness, and through the information on my podcast and all that, really want to help drive humanity forward, because there's a lot of pain and suffering here. So on that note, can you send the listeners out there a final message of love and healing for the people who are struggling out there?
Make sure that if you want to get really connected, read my book. Go to I've told many times, blessedwithbliss.com. You get on my mailing list and get a free copy of Easy Journey to Other Planets. Go to divine108.com. And the best thing is always remember the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Person, the source of all existence, and always try to develop loving feelings for him by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for meeting with me today.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Isn't it great? This process?
This has been amazing connecting with you. So thank you.
So let's stay in touch by email, and anyone have any questions, they can send them to sd@worldleader.com. So SD is for Sankarshan Das, sd@worldleader.com. Please send your questions. I'll be happy to answer them. I'm here to serve you, not to take your money. I'm here to serve you and help you become a spiritually awakened being, completely free from all the distresses of material existence, liberated from the cycle of birth and death. I'm here to serve you and help you achieve the highest perfection of consciousness and become unlimitedly successful, unlimitedly victorious, and completely free from all anxieties.
Awesome. Thank you so much.